there are a lot of people here that obviously want to buy property in Ghana, but the question is always funding, finance. Anyone can relate to that? I see people nodding their heads. And there's a general consensus that properties in Ghana are just too expensive, especially Accra. Some of the prices don't make sense in quotes. And so people will see properties and say, oh, if I was in New York, I could buy this property. Oh, if I was in California, I could get, a 5-bedroom. Why is a studio selling for $100,000? Well, we have the experts to let you understand what it takes to buy property here if you need some sort of financing. So this question goes to Access Bank. Now, from what you said, Priscilla, everybody talks about the finance part. So run us through what sort of mortgage products are available for an investor or a potential property buyer and how they can also go through the process to acquire a mortgage. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Priscilla. I handle mortgages in Access Bank. So essentially, we have various types of mortgage products. We have for diaspora, we have equity release, we have the outright purchase, then we even have pension-backed mortgages as well. So I don't know if you want me, I could quickly go through the various types and the requirements. For diaspora mortgages, so we'll need the proof of employment, that is 3 months pay slip and your 6 months bank statement, so that we'll see that your salary indeed goes through your account. And then we'll need a proof of address, so we can either use your bank statement or your utility bill. Then your contract letter with your employer. That's to say that you're in good standing, you're employed, and will have a stable source of repayment. And then also we'll take your credit bureau report. So because you don't live here in Ghana with us, even the people who live in Ghana, we still do a credit reports. We are able to spool it from our end. So we'll take your credit bureau reports. So with all these documents, you then have to notarize. The notarization is to say that the documentation you're sending to us are indeed genuine and that you're not tendering in any fake documents whatsoever. So that's for the diaspora mortgages. It also works similarly to all the various types of mortgages. So whether you can still do an equity release, whether you're a diasporan or you're a local client. So the equity release is to say that you already have an existing property and you want to release equity, saying that you would give us the documentation for the land, for the property, and then we'll give you 50% of the for sale value of the property. So assuming the property was 100,000, we'll give you 50,000 mortgage to be able to either use it for whatever financial commitments to have. The equity release mortgages are interesting in the sense that you are not tied up to what you want to use the money for. So it's not to say that you want to buy a property necessarily. You can use it for a personal loan, and that's a very smart way of accessing a personal loan, because for us, our mortgages are 15 years, and no personal loan is 15 years in Ghana. The max you would get is about 5 years for a personal loan. So if you released equity from your property and it doesn't tell you what you use the money for, then it's a smart way of getting a personal loan. It's longer tenured, your repayments are smaller, you can relax and then pay off. So you can use it for medical, to pay medical bills, education, and whatsoever. Then we have the outright purchase. So that, like I said, the documentation is pretty much the same. The tenure for our mortgages is 15 years. The interest rates for our dollar-denominated mortgages are 11% per annum. And I can tell Eddy for free, that's the cheapest on the market currently. You can shop around. This one's free. Yes, and then we don't charge you. The interesting thing about our mortgages is we don't charge you prepayment charges. I know other banks, assuming you got the mortgage today and you said 3 years down the line, I want to pay off, they'll charge you a prepayment penalty. We don't do that in Access Bank. Then the other part comes to the locally denominated mortgages. That's the CD denominated mortgages. Those are GR plus a rate of 3%. So the GR is the Ghana reference rate. So that's like the minimum banks are supposed to lend to customers. So it's currently is around 29.1, and then we put a spread. That's a margin. What the banks make on it, it's about 3%. So that comes to about 32% per annum for CD-denominated mortgages. So that's about it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. A lot of knowledge and wisdom shared. I'm sure some of you are making notes because what you get at Access Bank, you don't get anywhere. And what Priscilla said is true. In fact, you said the same thing in Washington. So when I came to Ghana, I actually shopped around and I didn't find any other. So round of applause for Priscilla. Thank you. And so moving on, let's go to Gold Key Properties. Now, you've been in the market for 27 years and counting. And over the years, real estate development has evolved. Now, to the avid investor coming into Ghana, all they care about is returns. And there's a lot of appetite for off-plan projects. So from where you sit at Gold Key, walk us through some, what sort of projects do you have now in the market and what are the investment returns looking like?
Okay. My name is Justine. I'm head of commercial at Gold Key Properties. So Gold Key is predominantly into commercial and residential development. We are big in both sectors. We develop commercial properties, which is office space, and we do residential properties as well. We've developed, I think, over 30 locations of commercial properties, townhouses, apartments, mixture of both. So currently, our newest project is Resilience. Before we go to Resilience, we actually sold CCT, which was the most recent before Resilience. That's studios, 1 bed, 2 beds, in Cantonment. We should be handing over that project to most of the buyers in the next month, which is January, because the project is almost complete. Our newest project is Resilience, which is located in Chado. I don't know how many of you are very familiar with Chado, but Chado is quite centrally located as well, easily accessible. We have studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, starting from $59.99 for the studios. So it's actually a great investment opportunity. I always say Chado is an extension of Cantonment. Price point slightly different, so revenue definitely slightly different, but it's a well sought after area and you can expect good returns on your investment. For example, in Cantonment, we are looking at returns of about 8 to 12% on your properties that you buy, really depending on your risk appetite. 12% for those who are willing to go high risk. Those are those who do the short lets, the Airbnbs, because the returns are higher. What you get on a monthly basis, if you do an Airbnb, you would definitely exceed the monthly rent that you're looking for against the long-term rates. For Chado, we are looking to do similar. Most people who have approached us so far are buying for investment properties, buying for investment. And we actually offer full scope. We sell our property to you, we furnish, we rent on your behalf and manage the units as well. So for those who are looking to invest, Chado is actually one of the good locations you should be considering. I know rental prices in Chado now for studios are about $1,000 to $1,200 per month. Once finished, definitely that will be higher. So these are what we have available in the market at the moment. I know there are other developers that have theirs, but Gold Key is definitely one you should consider for our track record. We've been in the industry for 27 years. We invest heavily in our developments. We don't depend on buyers' monies to actually finish our construction. And we are backed by a group that is also quite financially stable.
Excellent, thank you. I thought you put your hands together for Gold Key Properties, building prestige. Okay, so let's move on to DevTrackle. We have another developer on our panel today. Now, I want you to talk us through the process of buying off-plan and why off-plan. A lot of people want to do off-plan purchases. Some people have some doubts. Some people have some questions. I want you to, clarify and let people who are seated here and those watching online understand that there's advantages to buying off-plan, but it's important to know what you are doing. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Eddy. Hello, everybody. So before I move on to off-plan, I need to introduce DevTrackle. I want to assume everybody knows DevTrackle. DevTrackle has been in existence for over 30 years. We provide end-to-end services. We are one of the very few real estate companies in Ghana that provide full end-to-end service, right from development to building to management, rentals, etc. Now, when it comes to off-plan properties, there are so many people that are making money through off-plan. Number one, the main reason you buy off-plan is because you are able to do modifications. If you buy brick and mortar, it's in there. There's hardly anything else you can do. But if you buy off-plan and you've got specific modifications, these can be done for you. Number two, flexibility of payment. When you buy something that is already in existence, we expect you to pay upfront. Even if you're going to give you a payment plan, it will be like 3 months or 6 months. But when you buy off plan, you can go as long as 30 months, 36 months. Some other developers even give up to 5 years. So you pay as and when. These payment plans are quite flexible and it will allow you to pay without going for a mortgage. But even if you have to go for a mortgage, you can still buy off plan. And then one thing I believe Priscilla will tell all of you is that in Ghana, we hardly ever give 100% mortgages. They have a term. They say you have to have a skin in it. She's laughing. So sometimes, even with the skin of about 20%, it's very difficult. Yeah. It's 20%.
That's true, 20%.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I guess I know. Sometimes, even the 20%, you can't pay everything up front. It's quite loaded. So we give you that flexibility to pay the 20% with a payment plan as well. When it comes to off-plan, one of the major things people think about or the risk is, what if they never finish? I drive around and I see some projects, and I've seen them since I was in JHS, and they really never finished. And sometimes I in real estate right now, I start praying for them. I'm like, Jesus, touch that building. Because it becomes a bad example for all of us. So yes, there are people who do not finish projects, but if you need to buy off plan, buy from a reputable company. A company who's done it, you can trust them, you can trust their finances. And that is one promise to you. If you buy off plan from a reputable company, you are not just going to get your building, you are going to get an appreciated investment, because the price you get it today is not the same price when we hand over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for introducing DevTraco to everyone seated here. We truly appreciate it. Okay, now let me move on to Michael. Now, from where you sit at Jacob West Limited, you've seen projects from foundation to completion to handover. Now, a lot of people here are wondering, I can't afford Cantonment, I can't afford Laboni, but there are other locations I could, afford. So from where you sit, if you can advise on what you call hotspots worth considering, and also allow people seated here to understand, what to consider when it comes to building, because I've seen a lot of arguments online where people ask this very popular question: to buy or to build? All right, so try and hit on the part that talks about building, because that's where your focus is, and allow people to leave here with some very, very, very good knowledge on construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi to everyone. I think first, I hope at the end of this expo, we stop buying land, because buying land is a headache. Leave it to the specialists. Go to the developers and buy a completed house. I believe buying land, it's the thing of the old. So we're talking about hotspots. Hotspots, we have a number of places in Accra that's really growing and doing well. I'm going to say East Legon Hills, because obviously we're developing there, and everyone is running to East Legon Hills. But why are they running to East Legon Hills? Now, the road from Palace is just recently opened. So what does that mean? It takes literally like 10 minutes to get to East Legon Hills now. Then a month ago, it took like 30, 40 minutes. You could appreciate that the value of the properties will go up because of the value of the land and then the value of being able to get access quicker than previously. So East Legon Hills is a fantastic place. We have some pockets of places in Accra. Teshinungwa is right in town. It's a stone throw away from Chado, but yet we don't look at Teshinungwa. Why is that? We need someone to start developing, and you realize that it's actually closer than Spintex, closer than East Legon Hills, closer than East Legon itself. So why are we not looking at Teshinungwa? The location is fantastic. We realize East Legon Hills is doing very well, but what about North Legon? North Legon's actually easier to get into town. I did it in 20 minutes last week. From there, you can get to Bray, you can get to West Legon, you can get to Achimota, you can get into the center of town. So the access point is actually easier than East Legon Hills. So let's look at these other areas as an opportunity. Now, they mentioned some fantastic points about earning or gaining equity from the beginning to the end of completion. That's actually a way to get onto the property market. I believe if you buy in early off plan, you can actually sell on completion. You don't need to actually own the property. You can put a deposit down, wait a while, sell. As it completes, take your equity out and go again. See, in the UK, we tend to do this with mortgages, but you can actually do this with cash in Ghana. So we need to look at things in a different way. We need to stop buying land. Buying land is actually a nightmare. How many of us actually know the process off the top of our heads? Do we want to get into litigation? Do we want to be fighting land guards? Leave it to the developers. Buy already finished properties. Buy early off plan, get equity early, and get out early, or own early. So we need to really move away from the fact of buying land. So that's my advice. There are a number of other areas that we can talk about, but we'll be here all day.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. As you were speaking, something crossed my mind. I know why Teshinungwa is not considered by many. Now, Ghanaians have this notion of adding hills to any location before the location becomes prime. Okay, so maybe we should add Teshinungwa Hills. It will sell out.
So Jacob West have Teshinungwa Hills coming soon, near Legma. So the hills.
Michael.
Hey. Please add hills to the documents. Yeah, so Teshinungwa is, the hills might be the issue.
The hills is where the dollars comes in. So
we can create a little bump in the road and
keep it in mind. It will work for you. Thank you so much. Rabbi will add a few words and then we'll do our last words and then we'll come to the Q&As.
Yeah, the last word I'll add is, he said, don't buy land because it's a headache. I would say, don't buy land from a source you don't trust. If you want to build your dream house by yourself, you want to buy land, visit a reputable company like Def Charcoal. You remember I said we provide end-to-end. So if you want to buy land, come to us. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, and thank you. And so we're going to do our last words very shortly. Now, let me start from Justine in that order. All right. So in 30 seconds, what will you say to an investor who is about to make his first ever purchase in Ghana? In 30 seconds.
I think it all boils down to where you're investing. Make sure you do your research quite well. Invest in a company that has track record, that has done something that you can visibly see and know that they can deliver the project. So invest in a Gold Key property.
Excellent. Thank you. Rabbi, over to you. 30 seconds. Speak to a first-time home buyer in Ghana.
Take a leap. Praying over it for years will not change the fact that some companies are doing well. Once you find a company that has a good track record, you can trust what you are getting, take a leap and buy today.
Excellent. Thank you. Priscilla, from what you said at Access Bank, 30 seconds for a first-time home buyer.
Like I said, we are the cheapest on the market. And it's always better to do mortgages in the sense that we'll do end-to-end for you. We'll do the search. We'll perfect your documentation. You don't have to go through the hassle. Just relax, and Access Bank will sort you out. Thank you.
Excellent. Michael, final words. What will you tell a first-time home buyer? 30 seconds.
Buying potential. We know the capital of the Cantonments and the Bonnies are doing fantastically well, but look at the potential in other areas where you can actually make a little bit more in a shorter space of time.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my esteemed panelists. Amazing industry experts sharing vital knowledge right here at the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo. At this point, the microphone will come around. We'll allow for 3 questions. I tried to do this in 20 minutes and I stuck to time. So a round of applause for your moderator. Thank you. So we've got 3 questions and then we move on to the next panel. Akyaa Bebrese will take over the next panel. Thank you, my esteemed co-host. That's right. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so thank you, panel. That was really informative and really useful. Thank you. So, Michael, you talked about, a lot of things, which I think I'll ask you about the land thing after. But as a construction company, what's your advice for those people that want to renovate a property? Would you say, with the current construction that we have in Accra, let's say, that it's worth knocking down and rebuilding, or is there room for renovations and resale?
Excellent.
Thank you. Actually, I would advise against renovation we don't have the history of our properties and how it was constructed years ago. And it could actually cost a lot more than you expect when you're going to renovate. We don't know what the foundations are like. You can't make any changes to that. The design, to actually modify a design may cost you a lot more than actually knocking it all down and starting from the beginning. So I always advise against renovation, rather to break down. You got the land in a fantastic location and design what you want and build, and it'll be a lot quicker that way.
And there you heard it from the expert. We'll allow for two more questions. Anyone has a question, give us a wave. The microphone will come to you and you can ask your question. Don't forget to introduce yourself, at least your first name will do, and maybe where you work or what you do. Thank you. Two more questions.
This is the least question crowd I've ever seen. Okay, yes, there
there's
you
a
go.
question here. Maybe they are waiting for the land stuff. There you have 20 questions. All right, let us know your name, and then you can direct your question to anybody, or you can ask a general question. Thank you.
Sure. Good afternoon. I'm Sylvester Jima. I'm from Sako Energy. My question is, considering the SDG goals related to climate change and all, it looks like real estate and properties are now moving more towards sustainability, like Keith mentioned. How effectively has the Ghanaian real estate sector been able to design something to align with these goals? Given that sustainability is something to look forward to in the future. I don't know if this question is meant for you guys, since you guys are more of sales and marketing.
Don't worry, we have the answer. Trust my panel. Thank you.
I can speak on behalf of my company. I don't know if there's any established rule yet in Ghana for real estate companies, but sustainability is at the heart of Gold Key. So we actually have sustainable buildings already existing in some of the Gold Key properties. For the commercial ones, PwC Tower and the EY building, all in Cantonment, are green buildings. They are EDGE certified buildings. So EDGE is awarded by the IFC World Bank for buildings that have met the criteria in energy, water, and I think the materials used in the construction. And CCT, which is a project that I said we are handing over to most tenants, will be one of our first residential sustainable buildings. And going forward, it's a company policy that most of our properties are definitely going to have the sustainability mark on them. So it's something that we have adopted already. We started the journey and we hope to continue doing that.
Excellent, thank you. I see a hand up. We have one more question. Okay, now the questions are coming.
Now it's starting. I trust you. Okay, women. Sorry, I'm prejudiced, sorry.
Hello, thank you so much for this information. So a lot of our buyers and people that are interested in buying want to know more about these interest rates with these mortgages. Obviously, there's a lot of potential there, but it would be great to get a little bit more of a breakdown about the mortgage rates.
Okay, so when you say the mortgage rates, how do you mean specifically? So like I mentioned, the dollar-denominated mortgages are pegged at 11% per annum. And then we have other charges. That's 2% upfront processing fee. And then you have things like credit life insurance and the property insurance. Those are advised by the insurance companies. And then you have to pay a stamp duty fee, which is a statutory fee. It goes to the Lands Commission. So we don't determine that. So when your documents are submitted and then they give us a fee, then you pay for it. And then you also pay for the title registration. That's to perfect your documentation. We don't know what it is, so they will do their assessments and then they tell us. But when it comes to interest rates, so I mean, like I said, we have things like SOFR rates. That's the secure overnight lending rate. So those are for like they're internationally determined amongst the banks. So then there's a margin. So there's a SOFR plus an overnight charge. So let's say we lend to you in dollar, because I mean, our maiden currency is not dollar, then we have to borrow from, let's say, the central bank, which is also borrowing from our international reserves. So there's always a cost that comes to it. So those is a very long calculation that goes into determining that interest rates. So that's how come we arrive at that rate. But like I said, for the CD-denominated rates, those are for the Ghana reference rates. So the Bank of Ghana would give you a weekly rate. So depending on things like inflation, monetary policy rates, there are so many things. And then he will come and say, okay, use, let's say 29.1. And that's what we have for this week. And then you put a margin on it. So that's how the banks make their money. And then I put a margin on it, let's say 2 or 1, or maybe expect a maximum of 3. And then you can come to me and say, do you know what, I can't pay your margin. Give me the Ghana reference rate. I can still do that. There are even clients who come and say that, you know, I want you to beat it down to below the reference rate. So I look at the potential of the client and I can even say, okay, I want to give it 27. Because when I look at you, I mean, there are lots of benefits I can get from this business relationship. So it's a bit complicated, but I mean, that's what it is. Okay.
I think, right.
Okay, we have one more question and we wrap up the panel. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Michael. I'm Mauli, Michael. My question, I'm so interested in you, and my question goes to you. I will sound a little bit Ghanaian. Yeah, I'll sound Ghanaian.
We are all Ghanaian, so please sound Ghanaian.
If I intend to buy a 3-bedroom house, because you advised me to avoid all this litigation, then land, gas issue, I should buy a complete home. If I intend to buy a home from your today, and I don't have the bulk of money to purchase at a go, but I'm a salary worker, then I intend to be paying monthly. How much do you think I'll be paying monthly on my salary, and how long period will I acquire that?
Okay, so this is a case study. Priscilla.
Okay, so we have a mortgage calculator. Unfortunately, I can't, I'll be able to tell you from the top of my head, but after here, you can just see me. I have a laptop. I'll be able to go through the calculator with you. But it's also to say that if you're a salaried worker, I'll factor in things like I'll take 50% of your monthly earning. So the thing is, if, like I said again, if you earn, let's say 100 CDs, I'll take only 50 CDs. I don't want to stress you, because when I stress you, then my repayments will not come. So somebody will come in and the person will tell you that, okay, I have a side hustle. So my salary, what you see, just take 70%. No, I will work with what I see. Because for your salary, we also make room for self-employed individuals. That's to say that I will assess your cash flows of your business. I'm going to do an assessment of your financials. And then I would say that, okay, you pay yourself salary, and so is also going to come from the business. But as a straight salary worker, I'll take only 50% of your salary, and then I would spread it over a period of 15 years. And then I'll take the amount, and then I would add the interest rate. So all those components will go into the calculator, and then it tells me what your affordability is. So let's say if you earn 1,000 CDs and you come and tell me that you want to buy a house for $100,000, it's unrealistic. It's not possible. I mean, straightforward, I'll tell you, it's not possible. Even people who earn, let's say, 10,000 Ghana CDs, and we put it in the calculator, and you want to buy a house of, let's say, 100,000 CDs. Even that, it can be quite tricky. So, but for people who earn, maybe on the other side, the people who earn in dollars, you know, that one is quite, there's no depreciation, the currency doesn't fluctuate like ours, so it's pretty straightforward. So that one I can tell you, but after I can do the calculation for you, and then you know where you fall. Yes.
Excellent, thank you. And so, of course, there's one more hand. All right, let's make it very, very quick, please. Very, very quick. We are running out of time. Very quickly, thank you.
Please, I'm KB Asante. Priscilla, please, if I heard you well, does it mean interest rates on mortgage are not fixed? Does it have a corresponding effect regards to the economic situation?
Okay, so for this dollar denominated, so the foreign currency denominated mortgages, they are fixed. So the 11% I'm charging you right now, I'm charging you for the 15-year tenor. But for the CD, because of the fluctuation, it's not fixed. The CD is variable, if you understand me. So then, because today, so if it goes down, I go down with you. If it goes up, we'll go up. So that's how it is. KB,
Are we clear?
Oh, Michael, you want to say something?
Can I just...
Michael, you want to add?
Because I know Maoli directed a question to me, so I wanted to just add a little.
Okay, please go ahead.
So in terms of getting a mortgage, correct me if I'm wrong, it actually kicks in when the property is completed in terms of the mortgage payments?
No, we can do an off plan where
Maybe
we
pay.
advance. So because it's in milestones and the disbursement is in tranches. So if, assuming we advance, let's say 20%, additional 20% to the initial equity. Once we advance 20%, you start paying on that 20%.
Right.
So not on the full amount.
Right.
So as it kicks in, as and when we disburse, that's when you pay. The repayment takes care of it. I don't know if you understand me. Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of give some kind of advice. Look for a project where there may be a growth in equity over the period of construction. So at the beginning, go for your mortgage, put a deposit down. If you start payments on completion, you could actually try and sell between that period and make a profit. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
And it might not be the place where you want to live, but it might be a stepping stone to make maybe 20% equity and then move on to the next project. Do that for 2, 3, 4 years. You may have earned a capital to now buy cash. So it's just another way of being able to get onto the property ladder that we call in Ghana. Rather than sticking to one mortgage, you could be quite flexible in that way. So try that.
That's very good advice. Thank you, Michael. We'll allow for one more question, and then we are done. Thank you.
My name is Janet Osafo, and I want to know whether if you got a house in Ghana, you can use it in the equity release scheme for pensioners.
Yes, Bobby, you can use it perfectly fine. You can use it for equity release. You have the documentation, is in your name. You're good to go.
And on that note, we wrap up our 30 minutes panel. Thank you so much to my esteemed panelists. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Rabi. Thank you, Justine. As Expo tradition, we have to take a group picture before you leave stage. Thank you. And right after that, my co-host, Ama Kyei, will introduce our final panel for the day. Thank you for your attention. We'll do our picture right now.
Safe and informed investments